And greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston for Interesting Ideas. And again, Reveille, that calls us to wake up, be alert, please pay attention, and do so on this Memorial Day, Monday, as we kind of slide into the late afternoon, early evening. And as you fully understand, that means for most of us that we've had perhaps a 3-day weekend, but now we have to get back to work. Now, those of you who aren't in the United States may not understand that fully, but in many ways you do understand how it is to have a little time off of work and find out a little bit more about ourselves, perhaps have some rest and reflection. And I say perhaps a touch of inspiration and worship, but then you go back to what you normally do. And of course, this is a Memorial Day that is kind of a different feeling to it. And so I'm going to acknowledge that, but then I want to perhaps suggest something that might be very helpful to us as we have the week ahead of us. My name is Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas, and it begins right now. And I do thank you for your time. What we are here for is hopefully there's a little bit of interest in you, in what we do, and that you are discovering that perhaps you'd like to do exactly what we are doing, and that is building a communication platform, both in radio and in television, so that you can have your message, your cause, your story out there on the World Wide Web, the internet, the cloud, the thing that dominates all technology today. And you're going to have to learn how to use it in some practical and hopefully profitable way. And we can help you do just that. We're going to help you reach your audience. And part of that is hopefully to make you just that, a little more interesting, because you've got some ideas for influence, for insight, impact, a way to be better, and to have some good, real, true income. That's our transformational message. That's what we'd like to do for ourselves, and hope we'll fully do it for you. I did. My wife was pleased at me this weekend because she said, "You just relaxed. I'm so proud of you." Well, actually, what happened was I was pretty tired, and so I worked very, very hard on Friday to get a number of things done, particularly in terms of helping my wife in her work and some other things she has to do. But then on Saturday, I really did start to relax and went through the day. And then Sunday came, and you know what? I took time after my time of worship to relax too. And then I went through, discovered that the classic film, Band of Brothers, was being shown. And so I watched that. I watched all of the episodes all the way through. And of course, part of what I also looked at was, remember, the classic movie, Forrest Gump, and the person of Lieutenant Dan. And that's Gary Sinise, who played the part of the wounded officer. And as a result of playing that part, it changed his life. And now, even though he has still an acting career and obviously a performance that he puts on, but what he's in the business of doing is doing everything he can is to help the men and women and their families who have been deeply hurt and perhaps even in some cases coming close to being destroyed. And oftentimes the case where a person has died, to give some kind of work of charity and compensation and connection to the veterans, and particularly also for those families of people who have died in what we do on Memorial Day is we hopefully give thanks for those who paid the ultimate price. We can still pray for them, and we can pray for their families, and we pray that we will have a spirit of gratitude and blessing. So, Forrest Gump, and then Bands of Brothers. And you know what? When I went to bed late Sunday night, and I felt somewhat refreshed about the deep difficulties we're in, because this is kind of a depressing time. You think of the Uvalde thing, you think of the war in Ukraine. Obviously, things are not looking good in terms of the economy. It is true for those of us in America, we are not going to be blessed with leadership that is going to be able to get us out of these messes anywhere near the near future. So what do we do when we are kind of in that place of the pits about what we are to be about? The Great Reset is on. The Great Resignation is on. And it was hard to say, now, what am I thankful for today? What am I thankful for today? And that's the mission that I have for myself. And when I went to bed last night, with great appreciation for those people who went through, the Band of Brothers, Easy Company. I know the history of it well. I've walked the shores of Normandy Beach and all of the things that were a part of that European experience. And now they went back and did their lives, and some of them had difficulty. They all had difficulty, but many of them emerged to successful and happy lives. And of course, now at this stage in their life, most of them are now gone, and we think how fortunate we are. One of my friends who's really a tough guy, I mean, he's an old cowboy guy. I won't tell you who he is, but he is one of the top guys in terms of the cowboy ethos, and he's a hard-nosed himself, and he writes books and magazines on that way of life. And he's a bit of a curmudgeon, and he lives somewhat the cowboy ethos in terms of toughness and hardness in his work. And recently he's been sharing, and he almost did it with a kind of a sense of embarrassment, it seems. But he claimed it. He said, well, you know what? My daughter gave me one of those gifts where you're supposed to get up in the morning and write 3 things you're grateful for. And then at the end of the day, you're supposed to write 3 things you're grateful for. First in the morning, kind of at reveille. And then, of course, perhaps at taps. Day is done, night is come, gone the sun. God is nigh. That's, by the way, is what it says on taps. And he says, I thought it was kind of corny. I didn't think I wanted to do that. But, I knew that my daughter would ask me about it, so I started to do it. And then there was almost a pause that you could sense even in his written words. And then he said, I found that very helpful. I found that very helpful. I'm going to keep on doing it. And then he said something, and I'm going to do something I never thought I would do, and that's that I would recommend something like that to you. 3 things you're grateful for in the morning. 3 things you're grateful for in the evening. All right, now spin that around, and now I'm going to connect that to war stories. Remember Saving Private Ryan? Oh, what an incredible war story of that same era. The Bands of Brothers, the post-Normandy thing. And who played that role? Well, the guy, Tom Hanks. He was, he was the guy. He was who, hey, this is the guy who's not very smart, but he went off to World War II, and, there he was. And then there is the stories that come out of that. And Inc. magazine had an article that came out just today, and immediately it caught my attention because I thought of the guy, Here we have Forrest Gump, and here we have the guy in Private Ryan. How emotionally intelligent people use the Tom Hanks rule to get more out of work and life. One of the most successful actors of all time reveals a major key to his success, and it's learning to say no. Okay. Some of you may suspect where that's going, but all good credit to the Getty Images for the picture of Tom Hanks and for the Inc. magazine writer, Justin Bautista, who is the author of EQ, Applied Questions. EQ Applied. Justin Bautista. Okay, here we go. He says, there's a time when Tom Hanks didn't have the fame and fortune that he does today. He's told of the time he had to figure out how to feed his family together on a budget of $45 a month, and when he had to borrow money from producers for rent. Of course, that was a long time ago. Fast forward to today, and Hanks has become one of the most recognized movie stars in the world. It was before this, though, when Hanks got his first taste of success and offers became streaming in, that the actor says he learned an important lesson, and it's one that perhaps can benefit you and I, entrepreneurs, freelancers, and other small business owners, as their work and reputation starts to grow. He was speaking about how he got to a place where he could make the movies he really wanted to make. Make the movies he wanted to make. To do that, says Hanks, he needed to learn to say, I need to learn how to talk, learn how to say a very difficult word to people. And of course, you know what it was. The word was no. The odd lesson for that is I figured out that that's how you end up making the favorable work you do. Saying yes, then you just work. But saying no means you made the choice of the type of story you want to tell and the type of character you wanted to play. Now, can I say that again? The odd lesson for that is I figured out that's how you end up making the favorable work you do. Saying yes, okay, you got a gig, you just do the work, you get paid. But saying no means you made the choice of the type of story you want to tell and the type of character you want to play. Okay, here we go, Monday night. There's a lot of wisdom in these words. When it comes to my own work, they've helped teach me to set my own priorities and create a business that helps me to achieve my own personal goals. Now, if you find value in the Tom Hanks rule, you might also be interested as, okay, I'm going to give him the shout out. This, of course, is the writer. And he says, in my full emotional intelligence course, which includes 20 more rules that help you develop your emotional intelligence. And so I'm doing a good thing. I'm pitching Justin rather than me. All right? The Tom Hanks rule helps you to develop self-management, a key facet of emotional intelligence. It states simply, every time you say yes to something you don't really want, you're actually saying no to the things you do want. Every time you say yes to something you don't really want, you're actually saying no to the things you don't want. So, it's important to remember this, because it's easy to get caught up in the moment. You might get in the habit of saying yes to everyone's request for a favor just because you want to be helpful, or you might accept whatever work comes your way, even if it prevents you from reaching your goals. And in this resignation period, in this reset period, it's going to be hard to live that way. but maybe we need to pray for wisdom and courage, because it all comes down to courage, that you and I will pray for the courage to say no to the things we don't want, so we can say yes to the things we do want. Just an interesting idea for this Memorial Day Monday. My name is Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas. We'll be right back. Okay, now I'm going to pitch me, all right? First of all, one of the things that can help you get in front of more people and the kind of people you want to work with and do the kind of work you want to do is to demonstrate it. That you build a audio and visual, you build a platform, a performance platform, so you can demonstrate to people how good you are and what is the work you want to do and how well you can do it. And that's how your reputation will grow, because you will be doing things you love to do, not just things you have to do. So can I just let that sit on your head, heart, and mind for a minute? And may I also encourage you to reach out to me, because that's the work we do. We can help you do that. My name is Stan Houston, stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. You need to be on the radio and reach your audience. You need to be on television and reach another audience. You need to write, you need to speak, you need to perform, and you need to have a little bit of mystery and magic and grown up strength and maturity in who you are and how you come across. Purpose, poise, and a plan, that describes you, and we can help that be you. Again, stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. And again, always close with a benediction. Blessings to those who paid the ultimate price, and to their families who also suffered greatly, many years later even. And blessings to us all, and all who seek to do the good work, not only of God's world, but of the world that we have to live in every day. Bye for now.